In my hand, I have one of the new Saturn Terminator models from the recent release of the Horus Heresy. These are really cool models, but they're also a perfect example of a growing and worsening problem with Warhammer models that you've probably noticed too. Let's get into it. Like many of Games Workshop's new ideas, the Saturn Terminators are an expansion on an idea from the past. In this case, the unnamed Terminator variant from 1988, which became a sort of fan-favorite deep cut for its outrageous silhouette.
I actually really like how they do this. Expanding on old concepts helps Games Workshop stay grounded in the aesthetic that they've created, while at the same time providing a bit of fan service for nostalgic fans. So as far as the new Saturn Terminators go, I think they're pretty good. To my eye, there are a few issues with the proportions. For one, they're so much larger than regular Space Marines that it kind of begs the question of how the Marine is even in that armor. Some fans have speculated that they need to be curled up in a ball in sort of a cannonball position to even fit in there properly, but that's neither here nor there. That's not what this video is about. See, the 1988 model that the Saturn Terminator was based on was a one-piece metal model, hand-sculpted and cast in white metal. Compare that with today. The Saturn Terminators are made from no fewer than 46 plastic pieces.
Yeah, you heard that right. 46 pieces. It might actually be more if you choose some of the other equipment options. Each one of these pieces needs to be clipped out, trimmed, scraped for mold lines, and glued together. And if you drop one, don't even bother looking for it. It's gone. These pieces are so small and light that they'll ricochet into cracks under the baseboards and never appear again. I built 3 of these models, and each one took me about 2 hours. And sure, the detail is amazing. And yes, I got to control the pose they were in a little bit, but 46 pieces for one little guy? Keep in mind, to play Horus Heresy, you have to have an army of like 100 guys.
This problem is essentially a function of how Games Workshop makes their models.
As I mentioned in the beginning, Games Workshop used to make models out of metal, and those 2-part metal molds provided some limitations that are apparent.
This is why a lot of miniatures from the old days have that sort of spread eagle pose. It was just a limitation of the casting.
To get a greater sense of posability and depth, you had to cast additional parts separately and glue them together later. Initially, this was just something like a shield or separate head or banner pole. Some of the larger old kits, like dragons, came in lots of parts, but as they were sculpted as one piece and then cut into pieces to be cast, the artists designed them with the limitations of the media they were working with in mind.
As time went on, Games Workshop eventually introduced plastic miniatures, many of which came in one piece. For example, these old Wood Elf archers.
You take them out of the box, glue them in their stands, and that's it. They're ready to paint. It was extremely easy to get a bunch of units ready to play with, but the downside was they all looked the same, identical, and often in flat, static poses.
The answer to this problem was the move towards the multi-part plastic kit.
This happened in the late 90s when I was a kid getting into the hobby.
Now you have like 4 or 5 different head options, different torso options, different leg options, and you can mix and match them to get what seemed like, at the time, an unlimited amount of combinations.
In practice, you still get a bit of sameness from repeat heads or weapons, and possibly some guys in awkward poses with their chin glued to their chest. But it also introduced a new problem. The gaps between the pieces didn't always look especially seamless or natural. As time rolled on, Games Workshop began to increasingly use digital software to sculpt their miniatures. Initially, they just used this for the hard, regular edges of things like tanks, but as the technology evolved, Games Workshop could use it more effectively for the entire sculpting process, and today, it's the industry standard. A handful of boutique miniature makers out there still sculpt the old-fashioned way, and I certainly enjoy that style of sculpture, but overwhelmingly, digital sculpting has taken over. At the same time, Games Workshop has also made vast improvements in their skills in the manufacture of plastic miniatures. Each year seems to bring an additional level of refinement in terms of sharpness of detail, the subtlety of mold lines, and the delicacy and fineness of pieces that can be successfully cast. The upshot being that the sculptors now working in digital media are no longer restrained by the media to nearly the degree they were before. They can render incredibly detailed miniatures with graceful dynamic poses, and the wizards in production will find ways to digitally slice up the model and arrange it on a sprue so that each part of the miniature will be cast in gloriously crisp fidelity, only to slot together seamlessly when you build it at home.
And that's how we got to where we are today, when a single non-character miniature that was once one piece is now 46 pieces. So, why is this a problem?
Well, as I already mentioned, these 3 Terminators took me about 2 hours each to build. Now you may have already noticed, but I am a mortal human being with a finite amount of hours to live on this planet. The box these miniatures came in is a box of 50 miniatures. Now, some of them are a little bit simpler, but not much, so even a conservative estimate means that just to assemble these guys will take dozens of hours of focused work. Now, I'm over 25 years into this hobby. I've painted hundreds if not thousands of miniatures and built all kinds of buildings and environments for them to live in and fight around. It may seem strange for me now to seemingly notice that this is in fact a time-consuming hobby. But I don't have any issue with this hobby taking a lot of time. I've always felt that the hours spent artistically expressing myself by building something from my imagination or painting something are both meditative and rewarding. My issue is that increasingly, Games Workshop is demanding a greater proportion of our limited hobby time be dedicated to building the model kits, which is a part of the hobby that I personally just don't particularly enjoy as much. Now, maybe you will say, well, Eric, you're just looking at one specialty unit as an example and you're cherry picking. And to that I say, I guess, a little bit, but look at another example, the basic infantry unit for the Mechanicum. These guys have a ton of pieces as well, some of which are these extremely tiny tubes. Sure, they look cool, but the time input to build each one is staggering, considering they sell them in boxes of 40 and you need scores of them to make a whole army. And here's the real kicker. While all this has been going on, some other trends have happened as well. First off, Games Workshop has partnered with McFarlane to make Warhammer action figures, which come assembled, painted, posable, and very detailed at a pretty competitive price point. The juxtaposition between a fully posable, ready-to-use out-of-the-box Space Marine and a Space Marine that comes unpainted in 43 tiny pieces is pretty stark. But that aside, let's talk about the real elephant in the room: 3D printing. Any sort of argument that the only way to achieve this level of detail at Warhammer scale is to split a Space Marine into 46 parts is absolutely shredded by the continued development and improvement of 3D printers. Every year they get cheaper, easier to use, and they're now able to produce sharpness and fineness of detail that's absolutely comparable to Warhammer plastics. And increasingly you can print complex models in far fewer pieces than a comparable modern Warhammer plastic kit. I'm going to keep it completely real here. One of the only things protecting Warhammer from losing their advanced hobbyists to 3D printing is the convenience of plastic kits. With plastic kits becoming less and less convenient and more time consuming, and 3D printing becoming easier, at some point it will become much easier for fans to print their own models. And that's a tipping point I don't think Games Workshop wants to mess with.
To be perfectly frank, I'm sure there is a ceiling on how many people are going to get into 3D printing, just because you do have to have like a open vat of toxic waste in your house to do resin printing, and that doesn't appeal to a lot of people for a lot of reasons, understandably.
To be fair, Games Workshop does seem to recognize this problem to a certain extent. For Warhammer 40k and Age of Sigmar, the starter boxes come with models that could feasibly be assembled push-fit, which is to say without glue, and they are generally made up of far fewer pieces than 46. So kudos to them for that. So what am I in particular going to do about this problem? Well, I'm just going to buy fewer kits probably. Another way that you can skip the building process if you don't like buying models like me is to just buy used models off of eBay. Having somebody else do the building and just buying them used is a pretty good solution if you don't want to spend all your time building. You do have to watch out for models that have like a really thick coat of primer, and you also can't get the very newest models this way. You typically have to wait a couple months for them to appear on resale sites. Now, as you can see, I can rant and complain with the best of them, but I don't usually like to make videos that are just critical or negative in tone, because that sort of thing just seeps into you, and after a while you start to see everything in a negative light, and it's not a great way to live. I don't know if this video will resonate with anyone, but I just wanted to voice this issue because, I don't know, I have a decent sized channel, and who knows, maybe someone from Games Workshop will see this video and think, hey, you know what, he's got a point. And maybe they'll make each leg only 2 parts next time instead of 5. A man can dream. But I also did want to point out the positive here. These models are awesome. I wasn't particularly stoked about the eagle on the chest bit, so I just carved it off. And this hard plastic is a joy to work with compared to old metal models. Look at this. Absolute madness. I have to give credit where credit is due. These are wonderfully designed. They have the right balance of detail and volumetric flat surfaces to let you really have fun in the painting process, and I've added flames and transfers, skulls and checks because there's lots of nice surfaces to do so. And of course, when I'm done painting them, as I do with almost all my models, I add magnets to their base from today's sponsor, the Magnet Baron. The Magnet Baron makes high quality, high strength magnets for all your wargaming purposes. Go check out their website at themagnetbaron.com. It's organized in a really logical and easy to use way for wargamers, and they're a huge supporter of the channel, so please go show them some support. And by the time I've painted these guys, all the pain of the assembly process is a distant memory. And all the little details pay off. So maybe there's no problem. I don't even play that much to begin with. Maybe I should stop worrying about going so fast and just kind of enjoy my hobby time as I'm doing it. What a radical thought.
So what do you guys think? Is this a problem that you guys have noticed too? Is it a big deal? Does Games Workshop need to do something about it? Let me know your thoughts. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time on Eric's Hobby Workshop.